Hello people, we're doing something different again, because this is the first and maybe the only episode of a quick look at. It's basically what I've been doing with all the character archetypes in Pokemon, where I give my opinions on each, but it's less analytical, unscripted, and formatted like a tier list. And today we're doing Mega Evolutions, because they're topical, you know, people have been talking about them quite a bit lately. With Legends EA and all of that, and now we have the official art for all of them, so I thought I might as well rank them. These are the tiers. Maybe this is a little too positive because there's no tier that's straight up called bad, but I guess I like Pokemon too much. Also, I'm not just judging them based on design in a vacuum, I'm also judging them based on how they improve on their original non-Mega base form. And the first example of that is Mega Venusaur, who I would put in the okay tier, because it's actually a Mega I don't like a lot. But that's a bit backwards if you know me, because I really love Venusaur a lot, and since Mega Venusaur doesn't really change much, then why do I not love it? Well, I do, because I love Venusaur, so by extension I also love Mega Venusaur, but that's the thing, it doesn't really add much. I do love the design in isolation because it's reminiscent of a design I already like, but there's not enough differences between these two, and the ones that are here are kind of insignificant. Like, it just gets a bunch of extra vines and leaves, and it doesn't really amount to much design-wise or concept-wise. Like, it's not particularly clever or anything. The only thing that I would say is kind of clever is that Mega Venusaur has these patches on its nose, which are reminiscent of Bulbasaur, so it's another Mega that pulls traits from its previous unevolved form, so it stays in okay, because it doesn't have much else in my opinion. And then Mega Charizard X, I would put in great. Now listen, Mega Charizard X, it doesn't have much of a concept, but I'm not above just liking a Pokemon because it's cool. It's a freaking dragon type black and blue Charizard. It's just objectively cool. Yeah, it's not clever, but it's clearly different from regular Charizard, and it's just too badass to not like. And the flames on the side of the face, there's not much to it other than that, but yeah, I do like it. Next we have Mega Charizard Y, who I would put in good. I used to like it more than X, and I do think it's quite a good Mega. It's clearly different from base Charizard, you know, like you can tell it's different. It's got more spikes, more wings, and more details, and I also like that it looks slightly more intelligent. At least to me, it's got more detail in the face, which suggests more intelligence to me. It's a bit more anthropomorphic with its features, which I like, because normal Charizard looks kind of dumb. It doesn't look too smart, but it doesn't change in as obvious of a way as Mega Charizard X, because the colors stay the same, and the typing also stays the same. Well, Mega Charizard X also gets a new typing, so I would put it slightly above. But yeah, if you asked me this 3 or 4 years ago, it would have been backwards. I used to like Y more. Still a Mega I like quite a bit. Mega Blastoise also goes in good. It's a perfectly serviceable Mega Evolution for Blastoise. It goes from having 2 small cannons to having 1 big cannon, and then 2 additional side cannons on the arms with the shells. Like, you can tell it's different, and it just amplifies the cannon concept. So it's good. It's fine. It just doesn't blow me back in any way. So it's just good. But, you know, good is a perfectly good place to be on this tier list. Then we have Mega Beedrill, who I would put in great, because I actually think... Oh, that's an Oras Mega, so I'll have to scroll down for it. Give me 1 second. I actually think regular Beedrill has a lot of potential as a design, but it suffers from being a little bit outdated. Like, the concept of a bee with spears on its arms is cool, but it would have been executed in a more sleek and streamlined way had Beedrill not been designed in Gen 1, and I think the Mega fixes some of that. It's like, it keeps the core concept of Beedrill, but makes it more streamlined and just more well-rounded as a design. It's as if Beedrill was designed in Gen 6 as opposed to Gen 1. I mean, yeah, it does look stronger than it, but I also want to say that if Pokemon redesigned Pokemon, instead of just keeping the designs the same consistently, they would have redesigned Beedrill to look like this, because this looks more in line with modern Pokemon design philosophy. And also it gets more spikes, and it's just like a cool aerodynamic shape. It's just tough, and I love yellow. I like bees, and Mega Beedrill is just a better, sleeker execution of the concept, so I think it's great. Then we have Mega Raichu Y, who I would put in great. Now, I know these are a bit controversial, the two Mega Raichus. I don't care that they look a bit more like Pikachu. I think that's awesome. Some people say it's them wanting to give Pikachu a Mega, but they can't, so they gave a Mega to Raichu that looks like Pikachu, and people say it's not made with love for Raichu. I don't quite agree, but even if that's the case, the designs are still good. I know they're goofy, but I like goofy over-the-top designs. To me, that's what Pokemon is all about. I don't have all that much to add, but I also do really love Raichu in general. It's one of my favorite Pokemon. Definitely one of my favorites in Gen 1, and the fact that I got two Megas I would have liked them regardless of what they did with the concept, probably. So yeah, I do have a bit of a bias here. Then Mega Raichu X, I actually like more, and I would put it in the awesome tier. Again, this might be controversial. Some people think it's kind of ugly. I think it's freaking cool. I love the way it levitates and hovers in-game. That's something you can't really infer from just looking at its art. But if you see the way it moves around in Legends ZA, I'm hoping you would get Levitate in Pokemon Champions, because, you know, it's a Pokemon that floats, and it would get rid of its only weakness. And I think Levitate would just kind of make sense as an ability for it. I really love the design. I love that it's yellow like Pikachu and brings back elements of its previous form, which is, like I said, is a theme with a lot of Megas. And I'm all for that theme. I think it's cool, and it makes sense because Megas are kind of like the pinnacle of that evolution line's potential. So it makes sense to have traits from all of the members of the evolution line and not just the last fully evolved one. Okay, next up we have Pidgeot, or Mega Pidgeot, who I would put in, let me just find it real quick, because I would put it in good. By the way, I did do this tier list ahead of time, just so I wouldn't have to think and kind of streamline the video, but I'll reveal it as we go, obviously. I would put it in good. It doesn't really elaborate on Pidgeot's concept in any way, but it is visibly a cooler, more colorful, more powerful Pidgeot, and that's really all that a Mega Evolution needs to do. I also like the little, I don't even know what you call this, like a crest, or I've seen birds in media that either have these as parts of their body like Pidgeot does, but I've also seen birds with helmets that have this kind of decoration, so it is kind of an established trope. It's not fully random. It does take inspiration from established design tropes with birds. I think it just makes Pidgeot cooler and more fantasy-like, and puts more emphasis on the hair, which is what Pidgeot is known for. But again, it doesn't do anything crazy, so it's just good. Nothing more than good. Then Clefable, I would put in great. It's actually a Pokemon I didn't really care much about when it was first leaked and I saw it in game, but I ended up adding an alpha Clefable to my team in Pokemon Legends ZA, and I loved it. I think it makes so much sense now that it's a flying type, because it's always had wings, right? Like Clefairy always had the wings, but they couldn't use it. They can't fly or anything. Well, not until now. And I think it's cool that the added concept of the Mega, it being a flying type and having wings, kind of expands on something that was always kind of there. The wings don't just come out of nowhere. It's just that now it can actually use them for flying. Well, it doesn't actually use the wings. It's more like fairy magic, but the concept is there. It's a Clefable where the wings became more prominent and now it can hover and fly. And I just think it's cute. It reminds me of Jacinthe, who's a cool character. So yeah. It goes in great. Not quite awesome, but I think it's great. And we got Mega Alakazam, which I would put also in great. I guess the only thing I used to not like about it, I mean, I've come around to it a little bit more, but I used to think it was weird that the hold on, let me find it. I used to think it was weird that the brown parts, the armor, I guess, that Alakazam wears, is pink when it's a Mega, because if you look at it from far away, it kind of looks like it's wearing like a wizard robe, which I think is the idea, because the armor on the forearms looks like sleeves. But if you can't figure out that it's just body patterns, and you might just think it's a wizard robe, which is kind of random. I mean, I know other Pokemon wear clothes, but I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of it, or I used to not be. But anyway, I've gotten past that. I understand the concept. The beard is cool. It makes it look a lot older, but also wiser. It makes it feel more human-like, because having a white beard like this is a very human-like thing. Like, I would have expected a creature like Alakazam to have like a yellow or even brown beard, because its whiskers in the base form are just yellow. Maybe it's a little weird that it's white. It gets the gem on the forehead, which makes sense because, you know, so many psychic types have a gem on the forehead. And also Kadabra has red details like this, so again, it pulls an element from a previous form. But most obviously, it goes from having 2 spoons to a whole 5, and it doesn't even need 3 extra arms to hold them, because its psychic powers are so powerful that it just levitates the spoons, which just makes perfect sense. So this line goes from no spoon with Abra to 1 spoon with Kadabra, to 2 spoons with Alakazam, and then finally to 5 with Mega Alakazam, which is just like, it's perfect. It's just a Mega that makes sense. So I think it's great, but it's not necessarily to my it's not tailored to my Pokemon design taste, so it's not quite an awesome, but I do think the concept is objectively just a good one. Next up, we have Victreebel. This one's also slightly controversial. It goes in good for me. I'm not crazy about the design just because I'm not crazy about Victreebel's design, but in terms of how it evolves Victreebel's design, I think it's great. The idea that it's got so much acid that it needs to seal itself with its own vine, and it kind of looks like this, I think that's clever. I think that works perfectly for what Victreebel is. The only reason it's not higher up on the list is because I'm not that big of a fan of what Victreebel already was. But for what it was, this is a good Mega for it, if that makes sense. Then Slowbro goes in okay. I mean, it makes sense. The Shelter becomes bigger and bites its entire body. It's not that it doesn't make sense, but it's also not particularly clever, and it's not too interesting of a design to me. But I don't dislike it. I'm not one of those people who hates jokey Pokemon designs. I like it when Pokemon look silly. It's just not, again, it's not suited to it's not tailored to my specific personal Pokemon design preferences, so I can't put it higher than okay. But yeah, it's fine. I think as a Mega, it maybe does a little bit more than what Mega Venusaur does. It's just that I don't like Slowbro enough to put it higher. So yeah, my own opinion also gets taken into account here, not just how much the Mega improves on the original. Then, okay, this one's gonna be controversial. I also don't care much for Mega Gengar. Like, again, I don't dislike it. It's okay, but it's not good. I get the concept. I get that it's coming out of the floor. But I don't know. I just think there's nothing else to it. I don't know. I mean, like, it doesn't need to do anything more because it's clearly different than base Gengar. I mean, let me just... Oh yeah, they're right here. Compare them real quick. You know, I think it's fine in the sense that you can tell that it's a stronger, different form. But I just think it's a bit clunky. I also don't like its official art. I feel like the lines make it look a little weird and crooked, but that's not Mega Gengar's fault. I like the third eye conceptually, but you can't really tell it's supposed to be a third eye right away, which isn't necessarily a problem, but I guess personally maybe I would have liked it a bit more if it looked like the other 2 eyes. I mean, maybe that would have been too creepy, but again, it's fine, but it's just not my thing. I don't know. I don't have that much to say about it. Next we have Mega Pinsir. And where did I put this one? Mega Pinsir. Oh, okay. I put this one in okay as well. For some reason on my other tier list, Starmie comes before Pinsir. But yeah. Okay, so it's like Mega Pinsir. Let me find that one too. It's clearly an improvement over Pinsir. It's like a powered up form. It's got the wings, which again makes sense. It's a beetle. Lots of beetles have wings. But I just think it doesn't look good. I mean, like, I know that it's supposed to be crazy and all of the Megas are a bit over the top and too spiky, but I just don't think it's that appealing of a design. It feels like it lacks direction. a little bit. Like maybe it needs to be a little bit more streamlined, remove some details. The concept is fine, but yeah, I also I'm not crazy for Pinsir. I'm someone who loves Heracross but doesn't really care much for Pinsir, so yeah, I can't really put it anywhere higher than okay. Now Mega Kangaskhan, I'm putting that one in good. I actually think the concept is great. Let me find Mega Kangaskhan here now. Where was that? No, it's here. Okay. Obviously, Kangaskhan is known for having the baby. In Mega Kangaskhan's design, the baby is out and more developed, and Kangaskhan stays the same. I'm okay with that. I think it's a fun and logical way. It expands on what Kangaskhan is. So I really don't have a problem with the concept. I think it's great. The only reason it's not going anywhere higher, even though I think the concept is so clever, is maybe because Kangaskhan kind of bothers me as a Pokemon. Like, I know it's a stupid thing to point out, but you know, how does this work? Because there's Pokédex entries that say Kangaskhan's baby leaves the pouch at some point, but we never see a Kangaskhan without a baby, or a baby without its mother, and we always see them being born at once from the same egg, like they're supposed to be one entity. I want to say that Kangaskhan is just like one entity. They're not mother and child, and humans just interpreted it as that, but that's never explained in the games. And the fact that I have to do all of these mental gymnastics to make this Pokemon make sense makes me like it just a little bit less, even though it's a fun classic Gen 1 design. Mega Starmie, oh my god, the talk of the town a few months ago. I think it's okay. Like, I get the concept. I don't mind the fact that it stands on 2 legs and that it's goofy. I love that it's goofy. I think it's a funny Pokemon. But I think it's one design change away from being a great Mega. Like, hold on. Come on. Here. So it's like, okay, give it the longer legs, right? And now it's a dancer or astronaut or whatever, and moves about a lot more. But it's still missing one extra thing that could have been different. Like one small thing would have made it just different enough to be better, to pass. I've seen a design revision of it where the star in the back is brown, like Star U. And that would have been enough for me. Like, it's subtle, but it differentiates it more from normal Starmie, which I don't think the current design is different enough. And it also would have pulled that element from a previous evolutionary stage into this Mega, which again would have made sense, would have been thematically appropriate. It's fine. I really don't hate it, but it's one design change away from being good. It's just okay. But yeah, I don't have a strong hatred for it like a lot of people do, and I don't really understand why those people do so much. Because like, if you don't like it, there's like a whole bunch of other better Megas out there. You know, why ruminate on the things you don't like? You're better off focusing on the things you like. Okay, Mega Gyarados goes in good. I think the design is quite great. Was that an Oras Mega? No, because Lysander had it. Here. Okay, I think the design is quite good. It adds new elements to Gyarados, like the black and the red, changes the typing, which I think is great. My favorite Megas are the ones that add a new element that wasn't present in the original. A lot of Megas just take what was already there and amplify it. My favorite ones are the ones that add something new. Bonus points if it's something that makes sense, like with Clefable's wings. But yeah, I like the new colors. Also, red is my favorite color, and it makes sense for this to be red because it's Lysander's signature Pokemon. Team Flare is red, but also, you know, shiny Gyarados is iconic, so maybe there was some influence there. And also the more, I guess, chubby shape is a bit like Magikarp. I don't know if that was intentional, but if it was, then yeah, it's great. The reason it's not going anywhere higher is because I don't like Gyarados as a Pokemon. For some reason, Gyarados kind of bothers me. Well, I don't hate it. I don't think I hate any Pokemon, but I kind of hate how popular it is for what it really is. I just don't like the way it looks at me. It looks so stupid. Like, it looks like Gyarados could never love you. It looks like Gyarados doesn't feel anything other than rage, which is the whole point. I mean, I think it's called the atrocious Pokemon, but it's not necessarily an appealing personality to me. Also, it's one of those glazed Gen 1 Pokemon that aren't that original. Like, we have Pokemon like Melodic, which have a similar concept but executed so much better, and I don't think Gyarados deserves the hype it gets from all those Gen 1 boomers. No offense. I actually like Kanto, it's just I don't like Gyarados. Okay, up next, Mega Aerodactyl. This is one of my least favorite Megas. The only thing that's preventing it from going in I don't know is that I just kind of like Aerodactyl as a Pokemon. Again, like I said, there will be bias here. But again, it doesn't really have any direction. It just adds more spikes. But the fact that the spikes are rocks makes sense, because Aerodactyl is a rock-type Pokemon, but you can't really infer that from its design. The only reason you would know it's a rock-type is because it's a fossil, and all of the fossils before Gen 8 were rock-types. So the spikes being jagged rocks makes sense. It would have been worse if the spikes were the same color as its skin. Then there would be no concept. So there is a little bit of a concept, but it's just not terribly clever, and it doesn't really have a lot of direction. It's a bit random. But you know, Aerodactyl is a simple classic Gen 1 Pokemon that I can't really dislike much. I just used one on a leaf green playthrough that I finished literally just before starting this recording. So yeah, I'll put it in okay. But if I liked Aerodactyl as a Pokemon a little bit less, it might go, and I don't know. We'll see. By the way, all of this is subject to change. This list could be completely different in a couple of years. Okay, Mega Dragonite I love. I think it's awesome. Oh man, I was so annoyed at people shitting on this Pokemon when it was revealed. I don't understand. Like, what did you want Dragonite to do? Dragonite was always a gentle, goofy, majestic dragon. It was never gonna turn into a cool, badass beast that would be blasphemous. It would fly in the face of what Dragonite's all about. This is the perfect Mega for it. Not only does it suit its concept and personality, but it adds new elements like the feathery wings. Well, they're not completely new because they're pulled from Dragonair and its previous evolutions, but there's elements in its design that aren't present in the base, so it does add something new, but it also makes sense in the context of what its evolutions used to look like. And also, a lot of people, myself included, really liked certain aspects of Dragonair and were kind of disappointed that Dragonite didn't have them. I mean, I never hate, well, I used to dislike it when I was a kid, but I still like Dragonite, but I do miss some of the features that Dragonair used to have that were lost after evolving, and the Mega does exactly what I wanted. It brings them back while still keeping, you know what makes Dragonite unique. So it's a great design in my opinion. I understand why it's in all the promotion for Legends EA. I get why Alt has one in the anime. I think it's an awesome, cute design that makes perfect sense, and you know, brings back all the elements that I liked about Dragonite's previous forms. So it's awesome for me. I mean, this is a Pokemon that was designed to be awesome. It was designed to be popular in my opinion. You know, that's why they show it and everything. Okay. Mega Mewtwo X, I would put in great. Oops. I love it. I mean, listen, I understand some people think it's kind of ugly. I have to go back up. Gen 1 over here. I understand that it's got some random bulging parts that maybe regular Mewtwo didn't have. But like, Mewtwo is always a weird genetic abomination kind of thing, so I wouldn't expect this Pokemon to look comfortable. But I just really like the concept, because, like I said, a lesser Mega would have just amplified what Mewtwo already has, but this one adds something new. It adds the fighting element, and now it doesn't float anymore. It stands, and it's stretchy. Like, you can't see it in its official art, but when it punches, the arm stretches like all the way, like Hitmonlee's legs. And I just think that's awesome. Like, yeah, it comes out of nowhere. It doesn't really relate to Mewtwo's concept, but I just think it works. It's Mewtwo with the opposite traits. It's like a physical fighter version of Mewtwo. It gets a new type, and it's got like the awesome stretchiness. I think it's cool. Mega Mewtwo Y, I also like. I also think it goes in great. I mean, this one, it's, you know, it's the same type. Excuse me. It's the same type as regular Mewtwo. And it does kind of just play or elaborate on what Mewtwo already had going on, but it does so in a clever way. Like, it's not that it has more spikes. Well, that wouldn't have made sense for Mewtwo, but like, it's a thoughtful way of expanding on Mewtwo's concept. You know, you're connecting the signature tail to the brain and kind of merging it with the second neck that Mewtwo has, which kind of shows that it's gotten even smarter, or its psychic power is even more powerful. And it's smaller, actually. It's a Mega Evolution that gets smaller, and in many ways it's closer to Mew, which Mewtwo was cloned from. So I kind of look at it as a Mewtwo that came a little bit closer to what it was intended to become at first when they first cloned Mew to create Mewtwo. I think it makes sense. I think, and also it's just like a cool design. You know what I mean? Like rule of cool again. It was crazy in the Genesect movie. Nobody knew what the hell that was. People thought it was Mew 3. I think in some betas or concepts for X and Y, it was tentatively called Mew 3. But yeah, it's kind of like in a way, it's the mascot of Mega Evolutions, because I'm pretty sure it was the first one to be revealed. But also, from leaks, we kind of know that it was also sort of the first one to be thought of, or at least the concept of Mega Evolution, came from Mega Mewtwo Y. It maybe doesn't get enough credit. But yeah, I like it. Again, maybe it's a bit grotesque with some of the details, but I really don't mind that at all. I think it's awesome. Okay, now we started with the Gen 2 Megas. I think these are all of the ones from Gen 1, unless something's a bit out of order. But we got Meganium. I think, Meganium is good. It's not, again, it doesn't have much of a concept, and I'm gonna look at a reference here so you guys understand. It just adds more flowers. Maybe you could argue they look kind of like those fancy collars that a clown would wear, or more appropriately, some kind of European aristocrats, which makes sense with the Kalos setting. But, at least at first glance, it just looks like a Meganium with more flowers. It doesn't have a crazy concept, but it also doesn't look ugly. And the fact that it's just one of those megas that adds more details is kind of appropriate in this case, just because of how plain Meganium is. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Meganium. I mean, I like Bayleaf more, but I still love Meganium. But it is a really simple design, and it's especially simple for a starter. Like, I know this was Gen 2, most designs were simpler in the Game Boy era, but even for compared to maybe other starters in that era, Meganium's a little simple. I mean, Typhlosion is too, but I don't know, maybe something's missing. There's too much empty space, and this Pokemon kind of benefits from having one of those directionless megas that just add more details. You take a thing it has, the flower, and just make it more. It kind of works in this case better than in other cases because of how simple the base form is. I like the antennae curl. That's cute. But also, how can you not like Meganium? I mean, like look at this guy. Girl. How can you not? It's got a good personality, even if you don't love the design. I can't imagine hating it. Also, it gets the fairy type. I'm a big fan of megas that add new types, or change the typing, like with Garchomp Z and Aggron. I just think it's like an extra kick of difference, especially if the design isn't all that different from the base form. It's an easy way to spice up the concept, but also the Johto starters, they're kind of notorious for not having secondary typings, and the fact that both it and Feraligatr got secondary types as megas is just awesome to me. Now just give the Galar starters megas and, give some of them secondary types, please. Also Serperior, maybe. But yeah, Feraligatr's next, and again, another controversial one. I think it's great. People say that it would have been better if the hood was hanging over its head constantly, and I do agree that maybe that would have looked cooler, but I just don't mind that it's like this. Like, the fact that it can close and create a giant head is enough for me to really love it, even if it's not closed at all times. In fact, I kind of think it's cooler in some ways because it surprises you. Maybe the design feels a bit random at first, but then when you see the animation, you're like, oh, I get it. It turns into a giant Totodile. I do agree that the official art is a little bit awkward. I mean, it's kind of imitating the pose of, the Gen 4 official art for Alligator, but, it's not quite right. Like, again, it's a little crooked. The stance with the legs doesn't look wide enough, and it makes it feel too top-heavy, especially with the big sail. But the actual design and concept I do like a lot. It was my first starter, and right now the only starter I used in Legends EX. I haven't played it a second time yet. And like I said with Meganium, it has a new secondary type, which is awesome. For me, it goes in great. Okay, up next is Ampharos, this might disappoint some people, but I'm not a big fan of it. Again, I want to reiterate that I don't by any means hate goofy megas or goofy Pokemon. You know, I don't mind Ampharos because it's unserious. But I just think the same kind of concept could have been executed in a more visually appealing way. Like, I get it, the wool comes back from its previous forms, Mareep and Flaffy, because Ampharos is actually a sheep, but no one who doesn't play Pokemon would be able to tell you that just by looking at it. But maybe don't do it like this. I mean, like, I'm usually not a big fan of Pokemon having, you know, like a head full of hair the way a human would, especially if the hair is a different color from the rest of the Pokemon. I don't mind human features in Pokemon, but this is a kind of human feature that I don't usually love. So it's got that going against it, I guess. I do like the orbs. I do like that there's more orbs now because this is a lighthouse. But I guess I wish it was a little different. Maybe instead of, one time I made a mock-up of what I would have liked Ampharos to look like. Maybe I'll put it on screen if I can find it. But it would have been cool if it got the extra wool in another way. Like, instead of having, you know, like a model flowing hair coming out of its head, it would have been cool if it had 2 wings made of wool, because, you know, it's a dragon now, and that would have made it look a little bit more draconic. Like, it looks draconic enough, especially for Pokemon standards, and I do like that it changes the type, like I said. Plus, Ampharos was always partly based on dragons, it just wasn't dragon type, and now it kind of fulfilled that prophecy. But yeah, it's the concept is good, it's just the execution doesn't quite do it for me. I don't dislike it enough to put it in I don't know, but I wouldn't put it higher than okay. Okay. And now we have Steelix, who I think is great. Now, listen, Mega Steelix is like the pinnacle of a Mega with a whole bunch of... Oh, hold on, I lost it. Sorry. It was an Oras Mega, wasn't it? Because it was in the trailer. Okay, I'm just blind. Okay, so Mega Steelix is the pinnacle of Megas that just have a bunch of random shit going on. But in this case, it makes sense. Like this is way over designed for normal Pokemon standards. This could totally be a legendary, but that's kind of the concept of what Megas are, right? They're like normal Pokemon that are ascended to a level similar to a legendary. That's kind of how I think of them. But for this Pokemon, it makes sense because it's a steel type, so the magnetism makes more, you know, mineral or you know, some of its steel coating levitate around it. Not levitate because it's not a psychic type, but, you know, float because of its magnetism. And then the gemstones bursting out of its core, it makes sense because Steelix used to be a rock type when it was an Onyx. The rock type in Pokemon is often differentiated from steel through crystals, right? Because if you have a crystal Pokemon, like say Carbink or Diancie, then they're rock type, you know, not ground type. Crystals are specifically a rocky thing, so it makes sense here. It's a reference to Steelix's origins as a rock type. It's not, you know, super obvious. It's not like it has Onyx's crest on its forehead, but I feel like this is kind of acknowledging that. It also makes it seem like, you know, Onyx and Steelix, they look kind of gray because there's oxidation and there's buildup of dirt and stuff over their bodies, but maybe inside they're all crystalline. I don't know if that's canon or if that's just something I'm inferring from Mega Steelix. Something Crystal Onyx. Yeah, but I think it's cool. It's over the top, but in a cool way. Yeah, it goes in great. For me, at least. Now, Skarmory also goes in great. Skarmory's always been one of my favorite random Pokemon, and by that I mean that it's not a starter or a legendary or a Pokemon that evolves. It's kind of a random Glubshido Pokemon, but I just really love it. I have a distinct memory of playing Pokemon Go when I was like years and years ago. And I actually didn't know about Skarmory as a Pokemon, and I saw its silhouette on the map, and it looked extremely cool, so I went out of my way to find where it spawned and catch it, and to me it seemed like a important, powerful Pokemon, almost like a legendary, or more accurately, it gave the same vibe as a pseudo-legendary Pokemon to me. It felt like it's supposed to be more powerful than a normal But anyway, that's a bit of a tangent. I just always loved Skarmory, and the fact that it's getting a Mega, you know, kind of like with Raichu, it would have been cool to me regardless of the design, just because of how much I like Skarmory. But I do think the design is cool. Again, the claws, they're goofy, but that's cool, right? There actually are birds that have goofy talents like that. And also, I mean, it's Mega Evolution. Mega Evolution makes everything over the top. I think I would have liked the design visually better if it wasn't gold and if it stayed silver, but also thematically, I kind of love that it's gold because, you know, the original one is a silver color, and what's better than silver? Gold. But also, what were the games where Skarmory debuted? Gold and silver. Well, actually, silver. It was a silver exclusive, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, you know, like, that's not like maybe intentional. It's not a reference to gold and silver, but it does feel like a more premium upgraded version of Skarmory. And also, getting one in Legends EA feels like such a reward because of the wild zone it spawns in. Anyone who's played the game will know what the Pyroar. But anyway, yeah, it was on my team. Also, Felipe is cool. Okay, Mega Scizor. I really love regular Scizor. I know, not a hot take. It's a very popular Pokemon, but I don't actually. So I think the Mega's okay, but like for how much I like Scizor, maybe I would have if I didn't know what Mega Scizor looked like, I might have expected, judging by how much I like normal Scizor, that it would have been, its Mega would have been an awesome tier or a great tier, but it's not. Like, the design doesn't quite bother me. I just want to do a quick comparison. Gen 2, here we go. It's like I'm not bothered by it. It has a lot of the elements that I like in, you know, regular Scizor, but it also doesn't add enough. Like, it's a little bit disappointing, but not by virtue of being a bad design, but rather it's disappointing because Scizor was already such a good design, you know, and they didn't really improve upon it. Like, between these two, I definitely like normal Scizor more, but I also don't mind it because it's obvious that it's different. You can clearly tell what elements changed. I love the addition of, you know, a new color, the blue, and the eyes and the fake eyes on the on the Pinsirs. But yeah, it's not crazy for a Mega Evolution for such a cool Pokemon, but as a Mega Evolution in isolation, it's still pretty good. And you know, it still has a bunch of that Scizor charm, so I can't dislike it. It's good, but not great. Heracross. Heracross goes right next to Scizor. It's another example. Basically, I have the exact same opinion because it's not that Mega Heracross is in any way bad, it's just that I love regular Heracross so much that, you know, I would have I can't not be a bit let down by the Mega just because I have a bias for the original, and any change to it would register as maybe a little bit of a downgrade, but I still like it. I like, not everyone knows this, but actually it's got the Beedrill Elytra that Beetles have on their back. It also has that on its gauntlets, and they open and it can shoot spikes out of its forearms, which I think is awesome. I like that it goes from a rhinoceros beetle to like an Atlas beetle, I want to say. Like the shape of the horns is different, so you know it's not the shape of the horns doesn't change arbitrarily. It changes to a different species of beetle, which I think it's cool. So there's a concept behind it, and again, it still has a lot of what I love about regular Heracross. Oh god, I sure hope I didn't call it Pinsir when I was talking about it. But yeah, it doesn't get more than good for the exact same reason as Scizor, just because it's not really an improvement design-wise over the original. Not to me, at least. Mega Houndoom, that's another one I don't like, so I'll put it in okay. Like, I can't hate it because Houndoom is just like a cool, edgy Pokemon. I'm one of those people where give me anything edgy and I'll like it, you know? I know it's childish, I know it's superficial, I don't care. This is a bone-themed Hellhound. It'll never not be at least a little bit cool, but it's just, the Mega doesn't really expand on the concept in any meaningful way, and it's another one of those Megas that just kind of make the design more intricate or adds random details without any concept. It's directionless, it's kind of random, and the changes that it does have feel arbitrary. There's no concept added to it, and it doesn't even really expand on the original concept. It's just a more complicated Houndoom, but you know, Houndoom is already pretty cool, so it's still not bad. I kind of see the teeth here. I kind of like, I can tell that some of the bones look like bones from other body parts that maybe you don't see on regular Houndoom, but yeah, it's too vague and it's too random, not enough of a concept going on, so it stays in okay. Mega Tyranitar goes in good. So you could make the same argument about Tyranitar, that it just kind of has a bunch of random arbitrary additions and extra spikes, but it does resemble certain kaiju. I'm not an expert on kaiju yet. I'm still learning about it. You know, Godzilla and all of the others. You know, I know others. I know Rodan. I know Biollante. But yeah, I Mega Tyranitar. If regular Tyranitar is Godzilla-esque, which I don't really think it's supposed to be based on Godzilla, it's more of a generic kaiju. But if regular Tyranitar is based on like the platonic idea of a kaiju, then Mega Tyranitar is like an upgrade of that. Like if the kaiju gets a power up in the middle of the movie, or a stronger variant of the same, you know. Does that make sense? Maybe that doesn't make sense. Maybe I don't know enough about kaiju movies to explain that properly. But the point is, there is some direction to it. At first glance, it might seem random, the things that it does change, but they're not. It reminds me of certain other kaiju designs that regular Tyranitar doesn't quite look like, and I like it just for that. But yeah, nothing more. I'm not crazy about it. It's certainly not good enough to go in great. I think maybe I would have liked it if the colors changed a bit more. Like, it does add the red, but maybe if the tips of the broken back, wait, it doesn't sound good. If the tips of the broken armor here were, let's say, maybe like a gradient from this green to black, and it changed the color scheme more. Like, from far away, it would look like the colors are different from regular Tyranitar a little bit more. Maybe I would have liked that better. I don't know. It's just a random suggestion. But yeah, this is not about fixing Megas. It's about judging them based on how they are. Mega Sceptile. I really like Sceptile, so I'll put it. I put it in great. I'm trying not to act like I'm just doing this for the first time now, because I do have a reference on the side, like I said. But yeah, so it's like, I don't like it more than regular Sceptile, kind of like with Scizor or Heracross, but it doesn't ruin anything about Sceptile. Like, everything that I love about regular Sceptile is still present here. So it's not exactly a downgrade, it's just not necessarily an upgrade. But I think the tree tail is cool. I mean, obviously Sceptile already had a tree tail, but now it's even more obviously a pine tree, and the fact that it shoots it off like a rocket is just awesome. And the gradient with the bulbs, the added, you know, red and stuff is just cool. It's like Sceptile is super cool, and Mega Sceptile is just like more cool. Yeah, it doesn't have a crazy concept. It's not, you know, super creative or anything, but it's like, it's too cool not to like. Rule of cool again. And again, it adds a secondary type. You know, all of the other Hoenn starters have a secondary type aside from Sceptile, and the Mega kind of rectifies that. Plus, you know, it's the Dragon type. It's not just any random type. It's a type with a certain reputation. You know, a Dragon type Sceptile. That's just cool. Yeah, nothing more to it. It's just cool. Okay, Blaziken goes right next to it in great. I think Mega Blaziken is better. Not because I prefer it as a design, but I just think it improves greatly on regular Blaziken. I used to be a certified Blaziken disliker, okay? Just because Swampert my favorite Pokemon, Sceptile is one of my favorite Pokemon, and Blaziken just seemed kind of lame in comparison. And Mega Blaziken always felt like a take two on the design that kind of gave it the edge that it was missing. Nowadays, I have an appreciation for regular Blaziken. I don't dislike it at all. I still like the other two more, but I think it's cool. But still, the Mega, it gives it what it was missing. One thing I used to not like about Blaziken is that it felt too bottom heavy, if that makes sense. So the legs are thick, way thicker than the arms, but also the feathers on the head point downwards. You know, like, it looks too much like an arrow pointing upwards, or I used to think it looked too much like that. But Mega Blaziken is more balanced because the feathers now point upwards, so it's less it's just a more balanced design. It's less bottom heavy. I think the stance on one foot is super cool. It's like, you know, Rapid Strike Urshifu before Rapid Strike Urshifu. The feathers, I don't know if feather is the right word. The ribbons, the fire ribbons, they're awesome. I mean, regular Blaziken could always do fire on its wrist, kind of like Typhlosion, but now they're elegant, flowing ribbons, and also, you know, everything on the head, the crest pointing upwards, it's a lot more rooster-like. And I'm not saying, you know, Blaziken doesn't look enough like a rooster, but it's cool that it looks more like one now. You know, the inspiration is less subtle or more obvious in a good way, in my opinion. Also, it trades yellow for black, which again is just cool. You know, it's an edgy color. Red and black is cool. It's just a really good design. I completely understand why this was the one that they showed off first, because I do think it's the best one of the three. It was an X and Y, while the other two weren't. Until Oras introduced them, they weren't an X and Y. Okay, Swampert. This is a tough one for me, because Swampert is my favorite Pokemon. And it's kind of like everything I said about Scizor, Heracross, and another Pokemon I'm forgetting, but like amplified tenfold, because it's not that Mega Swampert is a bad design per se. It's just that I'm so attached to regular Swampert that any change to the design kind of feels like a downgrade to me. I mean, it's obviously different. I like that it's got a way different silhouette. I don't mind that it's buff. I've seen some people be put off by that. I think it's freaking awesome, especially since it stores water inside its body, you know? So it's like, it's buff, but in a way that makes sense for the concept of a water-type Pokemon, you know? I like the added detailing. There's more of these pouches and stuff, and I like that the orange changes to a darker, more reddish orange. Again, it's a cool design. It's just like, I can't bring myself to love it when I'm so attached to regular Swampert, but the more I look at the Mega, the more I appreciate it. So I don't dislike it in any way. It's just, you have to understand, when someone is so attached to a character, they're gonna have high expectations of any supposed upgraded form of that character, is what I'm trying to say. It's a cool Mega, but for my favorite Pokemon, I would have liked it to be even better, but I'm happy it even just exists, because there's people who can't say my favorite Pokemon has a Mega, but I can, and I'm happy about that. You know, I'm good. I'm satisfied with this, you know. I'm not complaining. Mega Gardevoir also goes in good. I think it makes sense, you know, as a Mega for Gardevoir. It expands on the concept enough, because, you know, Gardevoir always looked like it had a dress, and now it's like a fancier wedding dress, you know. I think the colors are a bit unbalanced. Like, I don't like that the green is just on the head now, but I also can't think of another place to put it, because if you made the sleeves, or gloves rather, or the dress green, then it would no longer look like a wedding dress. And so I guess it's fine. I guess the green just looks like hair now, but it's just like if I squint and look at the colors, I'm not quite satisfied. It feels like there's too much white and not enough green. But, you know, it does do what a Mega for Gardevoir is supposed to do. It makes it even more beautiful and majestic. So yeah, it's good. Okay, Sableye is one of my favorite Pokemon, like, in general. So I do like its Mega. I think it's good, but I don't think it's more than good. You know, let me just do a quick comparison. So it's like, okay, the main body doesn't stay exactly the same. It's got golden teeth now, like it's wearing grills. It's got red eyes and, you know, spikier, longer ears and tufts and stuff. But the biggest change is obviously the huge ruby that it comes from its chest, but now it uses it as a shield, which is cool. I like that. I guess the only thing I don't like about it, or maybe I wish it was a little different, is that since the ruby is so heavy and bulky, it's hard to imagine Mega Sableye moving with it in crazy creative ways, like, I don't know, like using it as a surfboard or smacking someone with it. I mean, it can, but it feels like Sableye would struggle a little bit to do that. And I feel like one of the things I like about regular Sableye is that it's a small Pokemon that you can imagine moving about a lot. It's like agile. It would pull pranks on people, and it feels like now it's just got luggage. It's a very random thing to criticize, and it's also sort of nebulous. Like, it's hard for me to put it into words, but I guess the fact that it has this big heavy gem, even though it makes perfect sense for it, what Sableye is, and it's a good creative addition to it as a Mega, it also slows it down. Like, literally feels like it would slow it down. I don't know if it does, you know, maybe Mega Sableye is super strong or whatever. But yeah, it's not better than good to me. Again, like, I like the Pokemon so much that any change to it won't satisfy me, or it'll be hard for it to satisfy me because I like Sableye so much already. Okay, I love Mega Mawile. Mega Mawile is our next awesome tier to me. I think it does everything. Why is it? It's not next to Sableye. Wait, was Mega Mawile in X and Y? It was. That's crazy. But yeah, I think it does everything a Mega is supposed to do. So first of all, it does look like an upgraded, stronger version of Mawile. You know, it's got 2 mouths now, it's got more details, more spikes, and it just looks more ferocious. But it also adds the pink. You know, like, it's not a new concept to it, but it's a new color. So it brings into the Pokemon something that wasn't really present in the original. I mean, you could argue in the eyes and the tongue, but like, you know, the pink feels like a big addition that differentiates it. It brings something new into the Mawile concept, even if it's just color. But also the way it grows, the way the quote-unquote pants are bigger, gives it proportions that make more sense. I mean, it's not that regular Mawile's proportions don't make sense, but this is just more balanced. Like I said, like, you got the big hair, or their horns really, but like the big hair, but also the big pants. It's more balanced. I just think it's perfect, you know. That's really, this is like the benchmark for what a good Mega is to me, because it doesn't do anything crazy, but again, it very obviously looks like an improved version of the base form, but it also brings in some new elements that weren't there, and also kind of repair maybe some elements of the original's design that weren't quite as good. So anything that I could argue is clunky about Mawile's design is changed or reappropriated in a way that makes more visual sense and looks better and more cohesive with Mega Mawile. Like this random bang here, you know? Like, now it's flowy, it fits with the design better. It's just the difference between a Pokemon designed in Gen 3 and a Pokemon designed in Gen 6. So yeah, I love it. I think it's a good design. Also, I love Mawile, and I just love Mega Mawile as a design, even in a vacuum. I think it's great. Also, cool typing, Steel Fairy, you know, like, it doesn't change. Normal Mawile is Steel Fairy, but it's still a cool typing. Mega Aggron, it's good. I think in terms of detailing and shape, it's different enough from Aggron. Like, I can't complain that it's too similar, because it really is different. But I think what would have made the design even better is if they added another color. Like, I know they made the gray lighter, but I feel like one slight color change would have made it just different enough that it would have been fully to my liking. Whereas now, I kind of dislike that the colors don't change enough from regular Aggron. Again, it's like a weird thing to point out. It's very specific to me, but that's kind of what this tier list is all about. But also, I think it's awesome that it loses the rock typing. Like I said, I like it when Megas change types, but it doesn't have to be gaining a new type. It can be losing an old type. I think that's cool. It's creative. I know they did it because I'm pretty sure this makes it better competitively, just no longer being a rock type, but also conceptually it's cool. And that's also why it's a bit lighter, because this one's got more impurities. It's more rocky, but this one's just steel. It's just metal. So yeah, it's good, but you know, it also doesn't do anything crazy. It doesn't add a new concept, not really. But you know, it's fine. It's good. Mega Medicham. Where did I put this one? Let's see. I really don't remember. Okay. Right next to Aggron. That's where I put it. okay, so it does add obvious improvements over regular Medicham. I really can't complain in any way about how it improves on the original. It's probably the perfect way to improve on Medicham's concept. But I just don't really care for Medicham, and that's why it's not higher, you know? But yeah, it's a Mega that makes sense, but I don't have much else to say about it. Now, Manectric is one of the ones that's often criticized for just having random features added to it, random spikes, but I think it's kinda cool as hell. You know, again, rule of cool, no new concept, but it's an electric dog shaped like a lightning bolt. You know what I mean? Like that's goofy, that's stupid, right? But also it's so mega. That's what megas are. What is this Pokemon? It's a fast electric dog. So how do you improve on that? You make it a literal lightning bolt. It's not creative, it's not clever. You could even argue the design's a little ugly, but I just think it's cool and makes sense. It's a good over-the-top Mega. It's an instance where the Mega Evolution design philosophy succeeds. The idea that you just take what's there in the original and make it more. This is Manectric, but more, and in a cool way. But also, you know, regular Manectric, it's not a great design to me. It feels a little plain, a little underbaked, you know. Maybe it could have used one or two more design revisions, and Mega Manectric kind of, you know, fixes a little bit of that, you know. It feels more polished. It feels like a newer design, you know, Gen 3 versus Gen 6. Yeah. Sharpedo is my least favorite Mega Evolution, and it's our first I don't know, because it is literally just Sharpedo with more spikes. Now, I know they're supposed to be teeth, because Sharpedo's a shark. Sharks are known for their teeth, and this one's got more teeth on its nose. But it's also got a bunch of additional random yellow scars. And again, I know scars are just a thing you kind of see on sea animals in Japanese media, but they're just kind of randomly added on every extremity of this Pokemon. There's nothing clever about this design. You know, if you know these are teeth, you could argue, okay, that's kind of clever, but nothing else. Other than that, it's just taking Sharpedo and thinking, okay, how do we make this over-designed and just turn it into this? Well, or most of the new additions don't improve on the concept in any way. It's just it's just like, oh, Sharpedo's too simple, let's make it more, but without any other indications or direction. I don't think it's great. And you know, maybe if I really loved Sharpedo, this would bump it up a bit, because it'd be like, oh, okay, it's a Pokemon I like, but I don't care about Sharpedo that much, so yeah. It's my least favorite Mega. Spoilers. I mean, there will be others, and I don't know, but this one's technically my least favorite. Oh, by the way, there's no logic to the order in each tier. They're in Pokedex order within each tier, unless I made a mistake, which, you know, is possible. But yeah, a Mega Camerupt. Where'd I put that one? I put Mega Camerupt in, oh gosh, I can't find, okay, I put it in okay. And I think that makes sense, that's fine. Haven't changed my mind on that. I don't dislike it the way I do Sharpedo. I do think it, you know, excuse me, it develops Camerupt in a more meaningful way, because you got these two vaguely volcano-like humps on its back, and now just one full-on volcano with lava and everything. But there's also nothing to it more than that. I mean, like, the random circle patterns that it had are now proper rocks, which is cool, but it also gets this skirt. Like I get it, because the whole thing looks like a big volcano, and this is like Paley's hair, whatever it's called, you know, like what Alolan Dugtrio has. But I don't think it looks that good, but it also doesn't look bad. It's just a Mega I don't care much about, but I also don't think it's a bad design, so it's just okay. And Mega Altaria is our next I don't know. I like it a whole lot more than Sharpedo as just, you know, a design in isolation. If I just looked at this, it might be like, you know, like an A tier Pokemon. But it just doesn't change enough. It doesn't meaningfully develop Altaria, you know, it's got that flaw. It's got more floof, and it's a lighter blue. But there's, as far as I can tell, there isn't a concept behind that, you know what I mean? Like, it's more clouds, but like, why? You know, like there's no creative idea or new concept pulled into the design. It's again the same design but more. But I do like that it gets the fairy type, and the design does look a little bit more angelic and gentle, so I guess it makes sense for fairy type, but it still doesn't change enough in my opinion, and it's one of those uncreative megas. Mega Bayonet is my favorite mega evolution. Mega Bayonet and one other that we'll get to. I really love it. There's bias here, obviously. So, okay, Ghost type's my favorite type. I like basically every Ghost type. I'm not crazy about Bayonet. I think Bayonet has a good concept, but I'm not in love with the way the design was executed. Mega Bayonet just makes it amazing. Like the fact that the zippers unzip and there's like evil pink ghost energy coming out of it. It's got big sharp claws. I really like big chunky claws. My other favorite mega also has one, which I think is kind of a funny coincidence. But I also love the zippers all over the body. You know, it's no longer just a smile, it's everywhere. And I love the way this asymmetrical zipper pattern wraps around this cowl or, you know, wisp on the back of Bayonet. It's just cool. So it adds something new to Bayonet because it's the zippers being open and you see what's on the inside, but it also makes the design better. You know, it makes it feel less outdated because again, this is an early Pokemon, it's Gen 3, this feels so balanced, it's got such a good shape to it too, such a good silhouette, and you know, I like Ghost types, I like edgy Pokemon. I think Mega Bayonet is great, it's awesome, it's terrifying, it's just really cool to me. And looks like we finished with, no we haven't finished with Gen 3, what am I saying? Okay, we have Mega Chimecho now. Now I put that in great. I think it's awesome. So I'm not crazy about Chimecho by any means. So maybe, you know, if this was any other mega, the fact that I don't like the base species would have dragged it down a bit. But I think the mega is just so creative that it makes up for the fact that I'm kind of indifferent on Chimecho. Because, okay, so at first glance, maybe you're just noticing the little chimes. It's just, oh, Chimecho, but more. But no, because the metal part looks like a Chingling, Chimecho's pre-evolution. Again, it pulls an element from its previous evolution, but also does that in a clever way, if that makes sense. Like it's not like you're just slapping random bells on Chimecho. You make this whole stand that Chimecho hangs from, but the silhouette looks like Chingling's face, and it's got the giant Chingling bow. And you know, Chingling was introduced after Chimecho in Gen 4, so you could argue that there's elements of Chingling's design that are better than Chimecho, and they get lost upon evolving, you know, because Chingling's a newer Pokemon that maybe had a more polished design. But the Mega from Chimecho brings it back, so everything that you could have liked about both members of the evolution line is here in this Mega. And also, just the fact that Chimecho of all Pokemon got a Mega is awesome enough that it deserves great tier. You know, like, I love it when random Pokemon, random unpopular one-off Pokemon get Megas. Okay, regular Mega Absol. Where'd I put that? I put that in good. I used to really not like... Okay, this is a bit weird because I have to go here because there's two Mega Absols. Hold on. So I used to not like Mega Absol. I warmed up to it a lot. I think it's a Pokemon I like now. And I do think the Mega improves upon the design in a way that makes sense. You know, like it takes Absol's design and you make it more angelic. It brings new elements into it, but also, again, looks like a stronger, more developed form. So as a Mega, it makes perfect sense. Also this thing, I'm just realizing the horns kind of look like the Mega Evolution swirl on the Mega Stones. You know, or the double helix on the Mega Evolution logo, whatever, unimportant. But yeah, it makes perfect sense. It's just, I don't, like if I liked Absol more, it would go higher. It's not that it does anything wrong, it's just that I don't think I like Absol enough for this to go in great. But that's not to say that this design is in any way bad, because it's quite good. Now, Mega Absol Z is my other favorite Mega Evolution, right next to Bayonet. And I like it for very similar reasons. Like I hinted at before, both of them have big claws and they're also kind of the same color. But I just think it's awesome, you know, because Absol is this gentle, pure white, and then you make a Mega of it that's black, and instead of getting angel wings like normal Mega Absol, this one's fur curls into a giant claw, you know, like an evil claw. And now instead of being curved, instead of having curved blades or horns, they're jagged now. Because, again, this is kind of like the edgy, eviler one. Well, it's not evil, they're all dark types, but you know what I mean. It's like the devil. Mega Absol Z is the devil to regular Mega Absol's angel. And also, this looks like a Z, because it's Mega Absol Z. But, the fact that it gets the ghost type, you know, like, it adds my favorite type to this Pokemon is just the cherry on top. It's awesome. It's like you take a Pokemon I like a fair bit, and by adding my favorite type to it, you turn it into a design I love. And I also think the official art for Mega Absol Z is fantastic. It's not one of the traced ones, at least I don't think it is, but it looks great. I just love it. And again, I like anything edgy. It's an edgy mammal with a giant red claw on its back, you know, that it can use like an extra appendage, and it's cool. But also the way it's a perversion of regular Mega Absol is just clever but insanely cool. Yeah, these two are similar, and they're also my favorites, you know. Anyway, Mega Glalie, I put that in good. It's fine. Like I said, I think it makes sense as a Mega Evolution for Glalie, because, you know, Glalie's just a face. So what do you do with a face? You make it even scarier by having its jaw be open. It's also very obviously different. You know, you can tell. It's not one of those Megas that doesn't change enough. But also, I don't care much about Glalie, you know what I mean? So I can't put it anywhere above good. Like, it's a good Mega for Glalie, but it's like, it's a good Mega for a mediocre Pokemon. Hope that's not too mean to Glalie fans. Mega Salamence, it's okay. Again, like, it doesn't really add a new concept, but it does add a new shape, or rather it develops the shape that Salamence already had, because it always looked kind of like a crescent moon, and this is just taking that to the extreme. But it's not really creative other than that. I mean, like, I do like that this armor part looks like Bagon, but regular Salamence already had the underside that looked like Bagon, so, you know, like, it's fine. But Salamence is also not a crazy creative Pokemon. I like it, but I just don't think it's, I think it's okay. I mean, like, it's in the name, it's just okay. Mega Metagross, I think I put that in good, yes. It's a good Mega. It's obviously different than Metagross. Again, the X goes from silver to gold, like with Skarmory, makes sense. It's an improvement. The arms face forward. I actually like the shape of Mega Metagross a lot more. It's got like the chin spike, which is kind of like Metang's nose thing. So again, pulling elements from its previous evolutions. It's good. It's a good Mega, but it's not a Mega for one of my favorite Pokemon, and it's not, you know, so it's good. I'm explaining why it's not higher, but really I should be explaining why it's good. You know, like, it's not higher simply because I don't like it more, but that doesn't mean it's bad. It's not an insult to it. It's just my personal taste. It's good. It's good. Is what I'm trying to say. Okay, Mega Latias and Latios, obviously, I assume I put them both in the same tier because they're the same design with different colored eyes. I think they're good. I think it's lame that they look exactly the same, you know, but that doesn't really make the design bad. But it's another case where it's like, I like Latias and Latios, especially Latias, a lot, and the Megas don't really improve on what I like. In fact, they're kind of like downgrades. I mean, I can appreciate the purple because it's red plus blue and you can make both of them purple, but there's not really any direction to it again. But, you know, Latios and Latias, they're cool enough Pokemon that it elevates the Megas to good, because they're still good designs because the base material is good, but they're not crazy good Megas. I don't know, they're good. I don't hate them as much as other people, but I also don't care about them enough to put them lower. I don't hate them enough. Okay, Primal, I'm also putting Primal Kyogre and Groudon here. They're not Megas, but, you know, functionally they're very similar. It's great. both of them are quite great in my opinion, but let's talk about Kyogre for now. So it's like, this may be blasphemous to some people, but I never cared much for, oh, hold on, they're not here. They're not here. I guess I'll put them on the screen. So Mega Kyogre and Groudon, I'm not a big fan of them. They're okay, but for legendaries, they look a little too stupid, if that makes sense. Like, they look too much like mindless beasts, which is kind of what they are, because they're very destructive, but they lack an elegance that I expect from, you know, box legendaries. And I think the Primal Kyogre, you know, basically adds that to Kyogre. It doesn't look more intelligent or less like a beast, but it does look more elegant, you know. It's got lights glowing on it. It's more flowy and ribbony. I don't know how to explain it, but it basically takes a legendary that had a good concept, but where the execution wasn't quite to my liking, and adding the necessary changes to make it more to my liking. And then Primal Groudon is one tier below in good. And it does basically everything I said about Kyogre. I like how in Groudon's case, the glowing parts resemble magma, so it makes it feel like Groudon's made of the element it controls, you know, which is cool. But I simply like Groudon less than Kyogre, and I think that's the only reason I put it a tier lower. And this feels, to me, this feels a little bit more legendary and special than this. This is more like a powerful destructive kaiju, but this feels more like a, you know, like a legendary that could be deified, that people could worship. That's just personal tastes. Mega Rayquaza is great. It's cool. I know it's like, you know, one of the most basic megas to like, Rayquaza, because it's super popular, it was super good and competitive, it's in everything, but much like with Mega Charizard X, it's just too cool to hate on in any way. It's just fantastic. I mean, Rayquaza's already good, but this not only makes the design feel stronger, but also adds new elements. It's got all these ribbons. It's a more elegant version of it, like with the primals. It's just a really cool, badass design. It's got the delta symbol on the forehead. There's just, I don't know, I don't think I can elaborate on it more than that. It's just, you know, looking at it is enough to explain why people would like it. It's just a really cool, powerful looking mega. It looks godly, you know. To me, it almost looks more godly than a Pokemon like Arceus. This feels like it could be the strongest Pokemon, and you know, you could make arguments that it is, but I'm not getting into that. But yeah, it's great, but not quite my favorite. Not quite awesome tier. Staraptor, it's good. I'm gonna pull up a comparison here. Like, it's good, it's obviously different and it looks stronger, but it's just like a little over-designed. There's a little too much going on for me. Not enough to the point where I dislike it, but, you know, it prevents it from being like a personal favorite. But, you know, again, I like that. It's got a new type, and it makes sense because Staraptor, you know, you can put fighting type moves on it. That was always the case, and now it actually gets stabbed for fighting if you Mega Evolve it. So, you know, it's a good Mega, but not anything more. Lopunny, Mega Lopunny, I would actually put in great. And now I don't want to hear any weird comments about that, because I just think it's quite a great design. Like, it takes Lopunny and adds new elements to it. The ears are now braided, and it's got, you know, the leggings. Well, they're not actual leggings, but they're legging-like patterns in black. It brings a new color, it brings new shaping into it, and it makes it fighting type, and you can tell that from looking at a design. It's more stanced up. I just think it's literally, it's good because it's an improved version of Lopunny. It doesn't sacrifice any of the concepts that Lopunny has, it just amplifies them, it makes them better, and this is just a more appealing and fun design. It's cute, it's awesome. I'm not crazy about Lopunny. Like, if Lopunny was my favorite Pokemon, maybe this would have gone in awesome, but the fact that it's not, you know, dragged it down a bit, so it's just great, but it's still one I like a lot. Okay, ooh, I don't like Mega Garchomp very much. It's okay. Regular Mega Garchomp, that is. It's like, again, it does look like a stronger Garchomp, but it's another one of those Megas where it's just take Garchomp and make it more. It's just more Garchomp. And I also think the face with the big jaw, while scary and powerful looking, is just less appealing. Like, I'm not a huge fan of normal Garchomp. I'm not like a Garchomp, you know, a mega fan, but this just looks like a Pokemon. This feels like a quintessential Pokemon design, and I don't think you need to do all of this to it. I feel like it ruins the simplicity of Garchomp a little bit. It also doesn't have a new concept, and it's not creative in any way. Now, Mega Garchomp Z, I mean, my opinion on this one could still change. It's good. I certainly like it more than regular Mega Garchomp because it does bring new elements into it. First of all, it's no longer a ground type and it levitates. Now, I mean, Garchomp could always fly, but now it's no longer grounded, so it is changed. And yeah, the spikes and added details don't necessarily connect to, you know, an obvious creative new concept added to it, but they're more elegantly distributed on its body. Like, it doesn't just have random spikes everywhere, it has the spikes on the arm blades because that's what it attacks with, but also the patterns maybe here look a bit more like a military pattern, so you know, the military jet or plane inspiration is more obvious. It's less subtle than with normal Garchomp, but not in a way where it's tacky, if that makes sense. And I do like these added things. I know it's like, it's not too different from regular Mega Garchomp in terms of how it changes regular Garchomp, but it's a better execution of the idea. It's a more elegant version of a Garchomp with more details, a more complicated Garchomp, you know. But it doesn't change as much as the other Z Megas. Maybe if it did, you know, like, it's not quite like Absol Z or Lucario Z, as we'll see. If it changed a little bit more, maybe it would have been great. It could have been great, like, if it got a brand new typing instead of ground, and the concept was a bit different, but, you know, that's not the case. So, you know, I'm not gonna spend too much time speculating on what could have been. Mega Lucario is cool. Let me see where I put it. I reckon I put it in great. Yep, I did put it in great, right next to Mega Lopunny. So again, it's rule of, wait, no, wrong, Lucario Mega. Back to X and Y. Again, rule of cool. It's just tough. You know, it doesn't have a crazy new concept, but it's a cooler version of Lucario. Lucario is already a cool Pokemon. It's very popular, but the flaws that you could point out in it are remedied by Mega Lucario to me. Also adds red, which is my favorite color, so bias, but also, it, like I said, I like it when a Mega adds a new shape or color to the design so that it feels different even from a distance. I think the flowing locks are cooler. It no longer has the weird shorts. I mean, I don't hate the shorts, but this is certainly cooler. And the patterns, the stripes it had on the face, the mask, is now more, I guess it looks a little bit more organic. It looks less like a mask and more like a pattern. It's more imperfect, you know. And it's also got the same kind of shtick going on the legs. It's a good design. You know, like, I could break down every element of it, but you can see it, you can look at it. I think it's cool. I think it's certainly a lot cooler than regular Lucario. If this was Lucario all the time, for me at least, I would like it even more. And I like Lucario because who doesn't, but Mega Lucario is just cooler. Okay, Mega Lucario Z, I put right next to regular Mega Lucario. I think in a vacuum, I like it less, I want to say. Like, if I were to compare regular Mega Lucario and Mega Lucario Z, I would like regular Mega Lucario more. But also, I think it's awesome how different this is. I wish it had a different typing. I don't really understand why it doesn't, but just the design, like, it really does feel like it takes Lucario in a different direction. Like, yeah, it's still a fighter, but this is way different, you know? Like, it brings in a new light blue, which kind of works as a counterpart to regular Mega Lucario's red. But also, all of the shapes and details on it are now more rounded and curvy, you know? It's kind of like the difference between Single Strike Urshifu and Rapid Strike Urshifu in their G-Max forms, where one is red and kind of more jagged, and the other one's blue and more flowy. I think it's good. It's a good design in isolation, but to me it's especially good because of how different it feels from regular Mega Lucario and regular Lucario. I like Megas, or really any kind of form change that take an existing design in a new direction, and Mega Lucario Z does do that. I just wish it was a different type. Like, that would have made it perfect. But yeah, it's not. Mega Abomasnow is also great, I think. I'm not crazy about Abomasnow. It's not like a Pokemon I think about a great deal. But this is a cooler, more powerful, more balanced version of it. I mean, balanced design-wise, you know what I mean? Like, it feels like a more modern Pokemon design, and this feels a bit like kind of a random forest brute, which is kind of what Abomasnow is, and this is also like a strong brutish Pokemon, but in a more epic, legendary kind of way. That's the thing. It kind of feels like if you took Abomasnow and asked yourself, what if Abomasnow was a legendary? That's what a lot of the Megas that I like are also like. Like, if it doesn't add a new concept, if it's not creative, at least make the Pokemon feel more legendary. And Mega Abomasnow does that. Like, and I think it's much better than regular Abomasnow, which makes it a great Mega, even though Abomasnow's not my favorite Pokemon by any means. Gallade is good. I have about the same feelings for it as I do about Gardevoir, because it's like more elegant, you know. It's got like a full-on cape now, similarly to how Gardevoir has a dress. But again, the design is a bit unbalanced color-wise. I don't like that the green is only on the head. That's a very subjective thing, but I just wished it wasn't like that, you know. Maybe they should have just kept it like how regular Gallade is. Like, the torso should have stayed green. I don't know, maybe that would have looked worse. Maybe the pants should have been green, because this is no longer, it doesn't have the same issue as Gardevoir, where it's supposed to look like a wedding dress. But I do like how the blades are different, and it's an obvious, powerful, improved version of Gallade, so it's good. I really like Gallade quite a bit, and Mega Gallade too. Mega Frostlass. So Frostlass, I think it's good. Frostlass is one of my favorite Pokemon, you know, in general. So I think it suffers a bit from, oh, I would have wanted the Mega to have a certain specific design, or I had like a specific personal vision for it, or whatever. It's hard for me. It's hard for it to impress me because of how much I like the original. That's what I'm trying to say. But also, I don't really like how vertical it is. It's kind of like Inteleon. This would have worked better as a Gigantum X design, which a lot of people said. But I still don't think it's bad because it's creepy, you know, in the way Frostlass is supposed to be. And I love how the little ice crystals on her head are now obvious devil horns, or more accurately Oni horns, I guess, because Glalie an Oni, so maybe that's what it's supposed to be. Anyway, I don't know how I feel about these patterns. Like, they're pretty, but maybe they're too small, like, you know what I mean? Like, they're too grainy as a detail. Again, like, this would have looked better on a G-Max. I really wonder if that's what it was supposed to be. But it's still good, you know? Like, it still keeps all the cool things I like about Frostlass. But I like it less than normal Frostlass. Mega Heatran is another one I freaking love. I would put it in awesome tier. Well, I am putting it in awesome tier. I always kind of liked Heatran quite a bit. But it's an unpopular legendary. It's certainly, you know, not one of the cool ones that people think of when they think of legendary Pokemon. It's kind of forgotten, and it looks a little bit goofy. But I just like the idea that it's this lumbering molten metal beast, you know what I mean? Like, I like how goopy and clumpy it is that even a word? I like how sloppy the design is, you know? It's not like a sleek, cohesive thing. It's just a half melted lava beast, and that's just really cool to me. And Mega Heatran, it just makes that a billion times better. It makes it even more monstrous and lumbering and big, and now it's so melted that it doesn't even have back legs anymore. Not really. And the lava is hotter. It's like a brighter orange now instead of brown, and it's got all of these steel parts that haven't melted yet, just kind of popping out of it in random places. And the fact that it's huge, especially in the boss battle you have with it as a rogue Mega, it's just, it delivers on the promise of what Heatran is supposed to be. Mega Heatran really does feel like that legendary magma beast that Heatran is supposed to be, but like this time it actually succeeds because the design is bigger and more legendary and more epic and also larger, like literally larger, especially as a rogue Mega. Okay, Mega Darkrai is a weird one. I think it's good. I am not one of the people who dislike it, like, at all. But I would have done it a little differently. Like, I like the fact that it turns into a big eye, you know, like an evil eye. That's a cool trope, and it makes sense for Darkrai. But to me, it feels like this design is trying to go for a body horror way, like a body horror vibe. You know, it's designed in a way where it's supposed to look kind of disturbing. Also, it's because, you know, the Darkrai Mega Stone wasn't formed under normal circumstances. This Darkrai Mega evolved because it was filled with a whole lot of Mega Energy excess, right? So it makes sense that the Mega is a little bloated, a little unnatural. But I feel like they don't go all the way with that, you know, because it is supposed to be like a disturbing, strange thing, but they don't make it quite strange enough. One simple thing that would have elevated this design a lot for me is if the head was upside down and this thing, its hair, I guess, this hair wisp, was pointed downwards. You know, kind of like Aaron's Founding Titan in Attack on Titan, where his head has super long hair that just droops backwards, but also in this case, the head itself would be upside down, like it was twisted in a weird way, and Darkrai's body was just mangled in all sorts of ways, which I think is what they're going for, but they're not, it's not quite, if they're going for that, it's not quite scary enough. And the design for Mega Darkrai feels a little weird because it wants to be grotesque and weird, but it doesn't commit to it fully, and it's kind of in an awkward middle place. Still, I appreciate it, and it works as a boss. I still think it's good, but I feel like if they didn't want to make it creepy, they should have just done like a more standard, sleeker Mega Darkrai. But if they did want it to be weird and creepy, they should have made it weirder than this is. You know, it's a bit of a, it's trying to do both things, but it's not great at either. Like, it could have been better in either direction, but it's still good. I hope that made even a little bit of sense. Emboar. I like Mega Emboar. I think it's great. Hold on. I think it's great. I'm not one of the people who hates Emboar. I think Emboar is a great starter, honestly. I think it makes perfect sense. But in Mega Emboar, it's just like the perfect Mega for it. It looks more powerful like a Mega is supposed to, but it brings in new elements. It's got a Fire Spear now, or I don't know if Spear is the right word, but you know. Also, Emboar is Chinese inspired, and Chinese characters having polearms or spears is an established trope, and Mega Emboar does it, you know. It makes sense, it's fitting. I like that the flames on its torso kind of form a scary face. It's not, again, it's not like a super creative thing, you know, but it just makes sense and looks good, rule of cool. And because I was never one of the people who disliked Emboar, a cooler, stronger version of Emboar is great in my eyes. Now I have Excadrill. I'm aware that some people say this one's a little bit ugly in the face area. I can't find it on my thing. Oh, I put it right next to Darkrai. I put it in good. I think it's a good Mega. You know, like, Excadrill's design or Excadrill's concept isn't being pretty, right? Like, I don't mind that the face looks a little bit ugly. This is a dirt mole that lives underground. You know, it doesn't need to be pretty, but that's another story entirely. It looks like a more industrial man-made drill. I can see some people disliking that because it feels like something that wouldn't appear naturally in a living being, but I think it's cool. I just wish you saw it in its drill form more, because it doesn't really quite close completely in its usual animations, but it's cool because this is a Pokemon with blades that can fold in a way where it resembles a drill, but this one straight up is a drill, and it's a big over the top drill, which is kind of like what megas are, you know. They're like, they take the Pokemon and make it over the top, but this one succeeds because it's not quite random. It's not like it adds little tiny spikes all over. It takes what Excadrill already has and turns it into a grander version of it. I think it's good. I had it on my team. Audino, this one's an unpopular one. I think it's good. I like that it changes its color. Where are you, Audino? Here. I like that it changes its color, like I previously established. I like that it becomes fairy type, and you can see that in its design, because it's more fairy-like, it's more beautiful and I guess like elegant. It's fine, like it does what a Mega's supposed to do. Like, I'm not crazy about Audino, that's why it's not higher, but like if I liked Audino more, I would have put this way higher. Like, I can see an Audino fan loving this, because this takes everything that people would like about Audino and just like, you know, amplifies it. It's good. It's a fine design. I don't get disliking it. People say that, why was it the only Gen 5 Mega that we got, you know, when Megas were first introduced? But I don't think they cut any of the others for Audino. I think they just wanted to make a Mega Audino, and this is what a Mega Audino would be like. It's fun. I like it. It's cute. Makes me think of Pokemon contests. Mega Scolipede is just awesome. It's another one. Well, no, it's not awesome. Awesome is a tier here. It's great. I mean, it's awesome, but it's not awesome tier. Again, it's not one with a crazy concept or anything, but again, rule of cool. It looks tough. It looks crazy. I like that the armor resembles its previous evolutions. I like the green bits. It's a very poisonous color scheme, because aside from, you know, purple, green is another acidic, poisony thing. It makes perfect sense. It's just like a really good and cool design. There's not much to say about it, but it's still great. I really like it. I also really like Mega Scrafty. It's good. It's not quite great. But you know, it's good. Like Scrafty is a lizard Pokemon that's shedding its skin, and now the skin is a full-on hoodie. It makes perfect sense. It looks cool. Maybe, I'm not sure if I like that it's all white. I mean, it makes sense, because that's kind of what lizard skin looks like after they shed. So I'm not sure if I would change it, because it would make the concept less clear maybe, but just looking at the colors overall, I feel like the overabundance of white makes this feel a little bit muted, but it's the perfect concept for Scrafty. Like, it's exactly what a Mega Scrafty would be. I love it. And again, maybe if I liked Scrafty as a Pokemon more, it would have been higher, but it's a perfect Mega. We have Electros. I think it's great. Again, it pulls element from its previous evolutions, because it's got the electric side arms, but also they're made of mucus, because eels secrete a lot of mucus. Like, it's gross, but it makes perfect sense. And the mouths alternate between showing plus and minus, like positive and negative charges, or whatever, you know. It's cool. It makes sense. I mean, like, I'm not crazy about Electros as a Pokemon, but this is the perfect Mega for it. It brings in a new color and a new concept, and it looks like a more powerful version of it, which is all it really needs to do. But I don't like Mega Chandelure that much. Like, it's okay, because it's not a bad design. Like, it's working with a fairly good design, but it's an uncreative Mega. Like, this feels like a Gen 6 Mega, you know? The Megas in Legends ZA broadly have better concepts, in my opinion, than the Megas we got in Gen 6. But Chandelure is an exception to that, because it literally is just, oh, let's take the Chandelier Pokemon and make it a more ornate chandelier, which is fine. It doesn't really need to be more, but I kind of wish, you know, they did something a little bit more creative with it. It's like, it's not interesting. That's the thing. It's not unappealing visually. It's just not an interesting Mega, in my opinion. And I get the two different colored eyes, but I feel like it doesn't look intentional. Like one of the eyes is supposed to be a portal to the underworld or whatever, but they just made it like a different color. They didn't stylize the eye in any way. I don't know. I don't like that much, but you know, my opinion might change. I love Mega Golurk though. Awesome. It's another awesome tier. It's perfect. It makes so much sense because Golurk was always a Pokemon that was hiding great power within itself, you know, because Golurk is basically like a giant clay suit, and it has this thing here. It's like a band-aid that seals its power inside, but now that it Mega Evolved, the seal came undone, but Mega Evolution allows it to control its new power, and now it's just enveloped in this aura. Not only does it look cool, but the concept makes perfect sense and adds a new chapter in the lore of Golurk, which is already established. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't pull a new aura and the wings out of nowhere. It comes from something that was already established about Golurk. And the coolest part is that all of the glowy parts on Golurk's body are no longer glowing in the Mega Evolved version, because all of the light on the inside that was making them glow is now on the outside. You know, like that's so cool. It makes so much sense. It's great attention to detail, and it's a really cool and tough design. And also the fists shoot off. You know, like you can launch its fist and separate them from the body, which is like a I guess like a trope for big robots, but it's cool. It's just like, it's perfect. You know, adds a new concept to it that doesn't come out of nowhere. It expands on something subtle that was already present in Golurk, but in a clever way that makes it feel completely different. And it also just simply looks good. I also really like Mega Chestnut. I think it's great. It's not quite awesome, and I am biased here because Chestnut is my favorite fully evolved Kalos starter, and one of my favorite Pokemon, I guess. I'm very attached to it. And the fact that I got a Mega is cool. And it's not, you know, like, because I guess I've established that favorite Pokemon getting Megas can go one of two ways. You know, you can have your Raichus and your Chestnuts and your Skarmorys, or like, you know, any Mega for a Pokemon that I like that would be well received. But then you also have some like Heracross or Scizor, where because I like the Pokemon so much, it's harder for me to approve of the Mega. Chestnut is the first category of that. It's a Mega for a Pokemon I like that actually succeeds, even if it's just by virtue of being a Mega for one of my favorite Pokemon. But it's not just that. It's also cool design. It looks cool. It looks more royal. It looks like a even more defensive warrior than Chestnut already was. And it can turn these things into giant freaking axes or something. I don't know if axe is the right word, but you know. And now all of the Kalos starters have weapons, because, you know, Braixen has the broom. Well, broom's not a weapon, but like, it's sometimes it's a wand when it's not Mega Evolved, and Mega Greninja and regular Greninja has the Shuriken. So it's like, you know, Chestnut has the freaking axes that turn into shoulder armor or shields, because Chestnut also has shields. It's just cool. I like it. It makes sense for Chestnut. It's great. Delphox, Mega Delphox is also great. I think, objectively speaking, it's probably a better design than Mega Chestnut, but they're in the same tier because I like Chestnut a lot more than Delphox, even though I never hated Delphox. I think Delphox is a fine Pokemon, you know, and it's a fox, which is my favorite animal, but the Mega is just so clean. It improves upon the concept perfectly, because Delphox is a witch, right? And it's got a wand that is on fire, because it's also fire type, but now it's got two wands and they float, and also a big wand that's a broom, because it's a witch, you know? Like, it makes perfect sense for Braixen. It makes perfect sense for Delphox's concept, but it also adds to it. Like this is all based on what we already knew about Delphox, and yet it feels different and creative. It feels like, you know, it's expanded on. It's great. I also really like Mega Greninja. This one's maybe the least popular of the three new Megas. I mean, Greninja is more popular than Delphox and Chestnut for sure, but maybe Mega Greninja was a little less popular than Mega Delphox and Mega Chestnut, but it's actually my favorite. It goes in awesome. I love that it's upside down. Some people are asking, oh, why is it upside down? It's a freaking ninja. You know, ninjas hang from the ceiling. And yeah, I mean, like, why is the water shuriken floating? But whatever, who cares? It's just cool. It's very different from regular Greninja. You know, it's not just that it's got a giant shuriken, but the color scheme has changed. These ear flaps Greninja has are now also shaped like shurikens. Kind of like with Delphox and Chestnut, it just expands on what was already there, but in a way that makes it feel very different from the base form. But I just like this one more than the other two. I think it's awesome. I like the giant freaking shuriken, and I like the fact that it hangs from it, and I like that it's upside down. That's awesome. Mega Pyroar, like most people, I'm not crazy about it. The official art kind of made me like it a little bit more. It looks better than, you know, in game with the model. But I also don't hate it, because it's like Pyroar is supposed to be plain. You know, like, this is still a normal type. You can't make it too crazy, because otherwise it wouldn't make sense as a Pyroar Mega, because Pyroar is plain. But also, you know, it's not an elegant way to do the Mega. It's just like you're making the main bigger and more clunky, but not in an aesthetic or visually appealing way. It's just kind of Pyroar, but more like, it's better than maybe these two, because at least the new main spells out, or rather it looks like the character for like a giant flame, as opposed to like the more diminutive character that regular male Pyroar's main is supposed to resemble. So it is a little bit clever in that there's some direction to this Mega, but yeah, overall it doesn't look that good. I'm kind of with everyone else on this one. I really like Mega Floette, so I think it's great. It's like this. So I also thought that Floette getting a Mega was stupid, because to me, the point of a Mega is that it's a temporary evolution that exceeds the regular limit of evolution, because, you know, Pokemon that are already fully evolved can miraculously evolve one more time, if only just temporarily. So a Pokemon, not an unevolved Pokemon, or not fully evolved Pokemon like Floette getting one doesn't quite make sense with that concept. Even though Eternal Floette can't evolve into Florges, but also conceptually it doesn't feel right, because Eternal Floette looks like a Pokemon that still has room to grow. It's not like it reached its limit in a way that it would call for a Mega, but that's not what Mega Floette is. Mega Floette is the Eternal Flower Mega evolving, not Floette itself. Now it's this huge thing, and it's almost parasitical, the way it grabs Floette. It's creepy, and that makes me like it, because it's not Floette that's Mega evolved, it's the flower, and that's a cool concept, and it turns something kind of beautiful and cute into something almost terrifying, where the flower, you know, is almost using Floette, and it acts of its own accord. You know, Floette's a bit powerless in this. I think that's cool. I like that it's creepy and strange and unnatural, because that's kind of how Angie is in this game, and this form is, you know, obviously related to Angie thematically. I guess up next we have, oh, I love Mega Meowstic. Mega Meowstic is, well, to be honest, I put it in great. Right now, I'm tempted to move it to awesome, but I won't. But I do like it a little bit more than the first time I made this tier list. Let me find it. It's like, okay, so first of all, this is cool. I like asymmetrical designs. I just like asymmetry. So that's the first reason I like it. Meowstic, more specifically Meowstic Female, is one of my favorite Pokemon, at least one of my favorite Gen 6 Pokemon, so, you know, it has elements from a Pokemon I like, so that also makes me like it. It makes sense because chimerism in cats makes them look like this, like there's real cats that look kind of split like this. And listen, I know that the reason it has both male and female elements is because they wanted the design to work for both male and female Meowstic, but the fact that it creates the implication that this is like a gender ambiguous version of Meowstic, you know, a gender non-conforming Meowstic, just makes me love it a lot. You know, like I don't think that's what it's supposed to be. It's more, you know, it's a mega that's supposed to work for both designs, but I imagine this as the third non-binary Meowstic, and that makes me love it quite a lot. And I'm tempted to put it in awesome, but it's not quite there. But if I were to rank every Pokemon within a tier, it would probably be my favorite in great. So it'd be above Charizard, but I'm not doing that. Mega Malamar. Mega Malamar is cool. Everyone liked it, and I'm no different. Yeah, I put it in great. It's a good design. I'm not that crazy about regular Malamar. Like, regular Malamar is kind of a popular Pokemon. I don't care that much about it, but Mega Malamar makes it cooler. Like, I love that it's skinnier and sleeker, and it's got all these glowy bits. It feels like it adds a lot to what Malamar is. It makes sense as an improvement, like an upgrade over regular Malamar, but it also brings in a whole new kind of aesthetic, and I think it's a good aesthetic. I think it's a great Mega. Great tier, and I used it on my team. Barbaracle. Barbaracle's good. It's another one where it's like, it's not that the Mega has any flaws really, like it's the perfect Mega for this Pokemon, but I don't care about the Pokemon enough to put it any higher, you know? Not that I dislike Barbaracle, it's just like, it's unremarkable to me. But I will say I do think it's incredibly cool and creative how the head palm is doing like a rock on devil gesture. Like that just makes sense. It also literally makes Barbaracle look like a devil, because these fingers look like horns. And I like that the typing changes. It's just, I don't care about Barbaracle enough to have a stronger opinion on it than what I just said. Dragalge. Dragalge is also good. Like, you can tell it's like one step above regular Dragalge, but it doesn't really add anything. I mean, I get it. It's like more cell growth because of the poison and stuff. But I like regular Dragalge more. Like, I think Dragalge is a great design, and this is like a less sleek version of it. Like, I wouldn't change anything about it. I think it's a perfectly serviceable Mega, but I just don't think it's an upgrade over the original, just based on design. But it's still a good Mega, you know. Mega Halucha, I think it's good. Like, people really, really love it because people love Halucha, and I do think it's a good Mega for it. I like the mask and everything, but I'm not as big of a Halucha fan as everyone else, so I can't really put it anywhere higher than good. It's a good Mega for Halucha, but since I'm not crazy about Halucha, you know, I'm not putting it anywhere higher. But, you know, I approve of it. I'm glad that so many people like it. Mega Zygarde is great. I think I talked about this in another video, but it's like, it's a Mega with a clear concept and direction. It's not just Zygarde with more cells or Zygarde with more spikes. It's a Zygarde that redistributed its cells, its body mass, into a giant cannon with one specific purpose, you know? That's why the body is stripped here, you know, like there's a layer of cells that's missing, and you can see the green glowy parts underneath because all of that was repurposed into the giant cannon, and the cannon can make the XYZ shapes, which is, you know, like a cool thematic thing. I just think it makes sense. Like, it's a Mega that makes sense. It's not so much a stronger Zygarde, it's more like Zygarde repurposing the power it does have for the specific explicit goal of fighting Angie. But also the moment in the story where Zygarde Mega Evolves is very well handled, and the cutscene is awesome. Like, it just feels epic. It's a good climax for the game, so that makes me like it even more. It's great. Mega Diancie is great. Now, I don't think Mega Diancie is like a crazy design, but I do think it makes all of the things that I personally don't like about regular Diancie a lot better. Like, I don't quite like that Diancie has this irregular rock as its bottom half, and its top half is just so pristine, humanoid kind of thing. Like, I don't know, there's just something unpleasant about that to me. But here it's all pristine. It's like perfect. It's gems. It's all symmetrical and stuff, and I like that. And it's also, it takes Diancie's beauty and grace and makes it even better. You know, like, I feel like maybe they needed to tone Diancie down in order to make Mega Diancie cooler. But like, if there was only one Diancie, maybe regular Diancie would have looked more like the Mega, because I feel like the Mega gets the concept of Diancie across better. And also, I really, really love Mega Diancie's sword. Now, you don't see the sword in any in-game animations, as far as I can tell. You can see it in, I think, a concept art, and in the Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire animated trailer. I think the sword is awesome, and if it was a more permanent part of Diancie's design, like, it wouldn't even need to be in its official art, but if it's something it always used when doing an attack animation, like Typhlosion's Flames, just something that it summoned, it might have been an awesome tier, because the sword is just really, really cool. But it's just like, most of the time it doesn't have it, and a lot of people don't even know about it, because it's such a hidden detail of it. Mega Crabominable is also great, I think. I'm not a Crabominable hater like a lot of people. Like, yeah, it's ugly, but like, it's not ugly in an unappealing way. It's a Yeti crab, you know, like, it's not going to be beautiful. But I think the Mega is just like, it's a bit like its fellow Ice-type Mega, Abomasnow, its fellow Yeti Ice-type Mega Abomasnow, where it's a version of it that feels more legendary. Does it add any crazy new concepts? Not really, but it feels like a stronger, more epic version of it. And I love the creepiness of it. I love how the eyes are obscured by the longer hair. This really does feel like a crazy cryptid that someone would take a photo of, and that there would be, you know, scary stories about, like a Yeti, you know. It's more intimidating, which I think maybe that's what Crabominable's missing, because it's got the ugliness but without the creepiness. Like, it comes off as more derpy than brutish. This is more like a scary brute, and it's a better execution of the concept. Also, the way it stands on its hind legs, kind of like a horse, is just creative and scary and weird, which is perfect for this Mega. And Golisopod, I think it's good. I really, really love Golisopod. But the thing is, Mega Golisopod has some aspects that I absolutely adore, and some aspects that I don't know what to do with. And together they kind of cancel out to just be good. Like, if it only had the things I really like, it could have been great, or maybe even awesome. But I just don't know what to make of the 4 legs now, because yeah, it looks like a Droideka from Star Wars, which is kind of cool, but it also feels like a weird abomination. Like, it feels like a corrupted Golisopod, if that makes sense, which I think would work as a design for a different gimmick. Like, it doesn't feel like a Mega, it feels more like, what if Pokemon had mutated forms? Which isn't a thing, you know? And this would have been like, oh, Golisopod was so mutated and so horrifically modified that it turned into this 4-legged abomination. But it's not that. It's a Mega, and I don't think the weirdness of the body plan suits the concept of Mega evolution. It feels too malformed to be a Mega. But it could have been a great design for a different concept. But I still like it. I don't know. I'm very split on it. But for now, it goes in good. Also has one of the better official arts for the new Megas. Mega Drampa is straight up awesome. It makes so much sense. It's like, okay, so it's a rejuvenated Drampa. Drampa looks like an old person. Mega Drampa is rejuvenated, so the hair is no longer white, it's a more youthful black, but because it's black, or rather dark gray, it looks like storm clouds, whereas before it looked like poofy, calm clouds that you'd see on a sunny day, but now it's like storm clouds. You know, it's not an electric type, but the visual is there. And it also, like, it makes the design feel more complete. You know what I mean? Like now regular Drampa feels like Kyurem when you compare it to Kyurem Black and Kyurem White. Like, this feels like the complete version, this Pokemon reaching its true potential, and I just think it looks really, really cool. And makes perfect sense for the concept too. So yeah, awesome tier. And also, I like Drampa, so, you know, it's a Mega of a Pokemon I like that improves upon it. Mega Magearna is another S tier for me. I love it. Like, I'm gonna put both versions of it. I don't have different opinions on it. It's just like different colors. I really, really love Magearna, normal Magearna. I wish we got to see more of it. I just like the idea of a steampunk maid-looking Pokemon. You know, like, it's dainty and cute, but it can also pack a punch, and its arm turns into a cannon. But it can also, it also has like fake flowers stored in it, and the Mega just creates like a battle mode for it, like Magearna if it transformed into its battle mode. Like, that's what the concept is. Like, I know it's not, you know, Magearna's body literally transforming, but that's what the concept is. Like, yeah, it's Mega Evolution. It becomes like this through Mega Energy, but it feels like, oh, this is Magearna playing with the princess, you know, and this is Magearna when the castle is being attacked and has to protect the royal family. That's to give an analogy that kind of relates to Magearna's movie. But yeah, I love the fact that the big cog that was on its head, it grew, but also split into two, and it's now like satellites. And now it's got the cannon shown off in the official art. It could always do that, but, you know, now it's more battle ready. I love how the ears turned, well, they're not ears, but, like, you know, these things, they look like angry eyes. It's like mimicry. It's a bit like Masquerain. But also, the power of Mega Evolution somehow undulled its colors, because this is supposed to be Magearna's original colors, but through time they faded away. But now through Mega Evolution, it brought back the color it used to be, which makes so much sense. It's an awesome, awesome Mega for a Pokemon I already loved. So yeah, awesome tier. No questions asked. Mega Zeraora is an I don't know. Listen, I actually really love Zeraora. It's in my favorite Pokemon movie, and I actually think it's a great design. Like, yeah, it's not like a crazy smart concept, but it's a cool lightning cat, you know? Like, I love that. It's just too cool to not dislike. And the Mega still has all of that, but it doesn't really add anything. Like it feels too much like just a color swap. I like that there's two tails, you know, that's like an obvious thing, and I like that some of the bits glow more, but it's just not creative, you know? Like, it's still a good design because I like Zeraora, so by extension I also like the Mega, but it doesn't add anything to it. It's not creative. And also, one of the other reasons I like Zeraora is because it's yellow, because yellow is one of my favorite colors. And I know this is subjective, but this is a version of Zeraora that lacks one of the things that I like about the normal Zeraora. It still has everything else I like about it, but, like, it's no longer yellow, and I kind of really like that it was yellow. So yeah, to me it's a downgrade. It's a I don't know, but, you know, I don't mind it. The boss fight was cool. Phalanx is an awesome tier. It makes perfect sense, because, you know, Phalanx is six little guys, six little warriors. They Mega Evolve and they unite. They combine together to become one big warrior. It's such a clever idea. It brings a completely new element into the design, but it's one that makes sense. It doesn't come out of nowhere. Like, you would imagine that that's what Phalanx would do. They're completely a unit now, and it also looks super awesome and cute. And also, the sheer fact that Phalanx got a Mega. Like, these recent Pokemon that came out after Mega Evolution was introduced in Gen 6 now have Megas, and Phalanx is awesome. I mean, I already like Phalanx, but Mega Phalanx is just perfect. It's such a good idea. Like, genuinely, I kind of wish this wasn't locked behind Mega Evolution. I would have liked this to be a regular evolution for Phalanx. It's cute, it's creative, it makes sense. It's perfect. It's what a Mega should be. Mega Scovillain, I don't mind it. I think it's great, but not necessarily because I love it. I just think, like, okay, let me explain. So I put this Pokemon, this Mega, in great. Oh, hold on, where are you? Oh, it's a DLC Mega. Hold on. So I put this Mega in great, even though I'm not in love with the design, because I think it's such a huge step up from a regular Scovillain. Like I said in the beginning, a big part of how I'm ranking these is how they improve on the original. So yeah, I'm not crazy about Scovillain, but I think this Mega, you know, like, fixes everything that the original didn't have. In fact, it makes me wonder if Scovillain was made plain intentionally because they knew they'd give it a Mega in the same generation, because this feels like what Scovillain should be. You know what I mean? Like, it's the complete version of the design. This feels like this feels unevolved now. That's what it is. Like, looking at this just feels like unevolved. It feels like a Pokemon that's not reached its true form, while the Mega is like that. But again, I am kind of sad that this form is locked behind the Mega evolution, because I kind of think Scovillain should have looked like that. But as a Mega evolution, it's great because it does all that for a design that was a little bit lackluster, you know. Mega Glamora's good. Like, it's cool. I like satellites. I like things orbiting around the thing. You know, I think you've seen that with Meganium and Steelix. The nose gets bigger, and I like that the thing in the back over here looks like Glimmet. Like I said, I like it when Megas pull design elements from their previous evolutionary stages. Maybe it needs a new color. Like, it's another one of those Megas that feels like it's one thing away from being different enough. Like, right now, I feel like it's not different enough from regular Glamour. I mean, it is obviously different, but I feel like conceptually it's missing one element that would differentiate it enough for it to be proper good. But you know, it's still good. I can see Gita using this. Then we got the Tatsugiri. I mean, it's fine. I don't like Tatsugiri. That's just like, I personally just have a gripe with food Pokemon, or just food-based designs. I know it's a highly personal thing, and lots of people like this Pokemon. And the Mega's okay. Like, the plate looks like the Mega Evolution symbol, but it just doesn't do anything for me. This one's a very personal placing on the tier list, because you know, it's not a bad design necessarily, you know, objectively speaking, but I don't like this Pokemon very much. And, you know, the Mega doesn't do anything to make me like it more. In fact, it amplifies the things I don't like about it, and now it's even more like just sushi. But I'm glad it exists. You know, I'm happy for Tatsugiri fans. Baxcalibur, this might be a controversial pick, but I think Baxcalibur is great. Because, oh, excuse the notification, but I have basically the same feelings that I do about Scovillain with Baxcalibur. I have the same feelings about Mega Baxcalibur as I do about Mega Scovillain, because it's not necessarily that I absolutely love this design, but I think the base form is plain and has issues with that, with the plainness, and the Mega kind of fixes them, and I kind of wish this is just what Baxcalibur always looked like. Basically everything I said about Scovillain applies to Baxcalibur. That's why they're next to each other, you know. They're both Megas that make me wonder if the base form was made lackluster on purpose to give room for the Mega to improve on. And I also think it's really cool how Baxcalibur looks like it was stabbed by a giant sword. It takes the sail concept that Baxcalibur already had, the back sail concept, and turns it into an actual sword-looking thing, which is freaking rad. But yeah, that's the complete tier list. I'll put it on the screen. Let me know if you want more videos like this, unscripted, just my opinion, just me rambling about what I think about Pokemon. I hope this was a little bit more educational than your average tier list. Like, I hope my commentary was a little bit more meaningful, because I explained each one of them. But yeah, thank you for your time.